And that is Dil To Bachcha Hai, playing for you on Radio 44 100.8 FM. Now in studios, I have got a very beautiful lady actually. She's got an amazing smile and I'm going to introduce her. But before I introduce her, I will say that we are here because of the Navrang Fine Arts Foundation. And this hour we'll be talking all about music. We'll talk about an event that they're hosting on the 15th of November at Oshwal Auditorium. Tickets range from 2,000 shillings to 4,000 shillings depending on where you'd like to sit, and you can get your tickets on bookingkiosk.com. So booking-kiosk.com. The Navrang Fine Arts Foundation are bringing you an amazing evening from 5:45 p.m. onwards. And now I can finally introduce the beautiful lady sitting right across me, Shruti Bhave, a violinist and vocalist. Welcome to Radio 44 Studios.
Hi Isha, thank you so much for having me on board here.
Thank you for being here. And according to my understanding, you've been in Nairobi for 12 hours now. And what have you done in these 12 hours?
One day career in amazing food.
That is what Nairobi is best known for, the food and of course the talent that is now in our country. Welcome to Kenya.
Yes.
Shruti, you come from a deeply musical family. How has growing up in that environment influenced your artistry and love for Indian classical music?
So my parents had been musicians. They have been my first influences, my first teachers, and their music practice and performances, this is what I have been growing up listening to. So influences were obvious and extremely easy. Also, I'm blessed that I have this musical understanding because of them, and their encouragement, of course, which mattered the most, because just talent doesn't make sense.
Yeah, of
you
course.
have to have the most favorable atmosphere around for you to grow, build your music and whatever art form that you are wanting to grow. So it helped a lot. And Indian classical music is like base for everything. So I'm fortunate to have started out with that, which actually just broadens your understanding to anything that you want to adopt.
Of course. Wow, that is amazing. Now, apart from being a vocalist, you are a violinist. The violin is often seen as more of a Western instrument. How do you bring out its Indian soul and adapt it beautifully to classical rags?
Okay. Technically speaking, also popularity-wise, it's like a Western instrument because of its tuning, and you see in the symphony orchestras. But when you just zoom into the India part of it, the way it has been adapted as the Gayaki instrument, like adopting the Gayaki style on the instrument, I think violin is one of the very few instruments who can go nearest to the voice.
Yeah, for sure.
With the right technique. So the Indian violin has a different tuning and the Western violin has a different tuning. So with the right technique and the right talent, right teachers, right blessings, you can definitely put in the Gayaki style, the Hindustani vocal style, which can be replicated.
Of course. Yeah. And you've trained under several ustads and explored multiple genres. Now, for those of you who don't know what an ustad is, I would say more like a guru, a teacher. You've explored multiple genres as well. What does versatility mean to you as a musician in today's evolving music scene?
Firstly, yes, I would love to answer that. I would be in deepest gratitude to my gurus, Pandit Milind Raikar ji, Vidushi Kala Ramnathan ji, and Padma Shri Pandit D.K. Datar ji, and my parents Sarita and Rajendra Bhave. And about versatility, when you say, I think versatility isn't a choice, it's a temperament. And if you have that kind of temperament to just absorb whatever is around and belong to it effortlessly, I mean, you can just go through it's a choice as well. I mean, you can stick to one genre as well.
Yeah, so and there's a beauty in that as well, right?
Exactly.
But performing live across different countries, right now you're in Kenya, and I'm sure you've performed on multiple stages. Performing live across different countries must bring such a unique experience. What are you most looking forward to in your Nairobi concert with Navrang Fine Arts Foundation?
I'm looking for surprises, of course, but I'm simply wanting to give the best from whatever I have been learning, and I would also want to know audiences' tastes here and live to their expectations. I will enjoy first, and I hope everybody will enjoy obvious.
Just from our conversation that we've just had, I know that the Nairobi crowd is going to love you. And even from when you're speaking, I can hear you're speaking in Sur as well. So I am definitely looking forward to the performance that you have in store for us.
Thank you.
Thank you for that little insight into the person that you are. Now, in the next 15 minutes, we've got Himanshu Nanda joining us on air. So stick around for that. He'll be with us in conversation live on Radio 44 100.8 FM. Someone actually who is immensely talented, Himanshu Nanda, a flute maestro and founder of the Mystic Bamboo Academy. Welcome to the Radio 44 studios.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. And so from what I hear, I just want to get right into the conversation. You've trained under the legendary Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia for over 13 years. How did that experience shape both your musical journey and your personal philosophy?
So, I feel so fortunate that Panditji accepted me as his disciple, and I lived with him for almost 5 years. So this concept of Guru Shishya Parampara in Indian classical music is something so very profound, that you just not only learn the music, you understand the perception, the perspective, the vision behind Indian classical music. And a person like Panditji, living with him, noticing his activity, his riyaz, how he managed time, how his approach to music, and how he see the raga as a raga. So all these things, when you live with him in the Gurukul, so that's create a new vision for yourself. You create your own vision towards your life, and that gives you the foundation of looking at life as music and living it as music.
Wow. Honestly, what you've just said is so beautiful. Understanding that Guru-Shishya relationship and the perspective of music, it's always been a dream of mine to experience this, and I think your words have really inspired me to maybe venture into something like that. You often describe music as a spiritual practice, and I can sense that from your demeanor as well. You seem like a very spiritual person as far as music is concerned. How do you balance the technical mastery of the flute with the emotional and meditative aspects of Hinduistic or Hindustani music?
So I'll come to your first question of looking music as a way of life. What is spirituality is a way of life. So practicing the music, the nuances of music, the techniques of music, the practicing the swaras, understanding the swara, getting into the inner circle of the swara. So when a seeker of music dive deep into it, a journey is not external, it's not outside, it's always internal. The more you meditate or you do a japa or chanting, similarly when you practice the swaras, then you have to forget the world. The world has to be dropped, and only when the swara exists, then your union with the music happens. That is what the swara, that the spiritual journey for a musician. And the technicality, the philosophy, and the whole bhava, which we call the bhava of music, is you understand the raga as a raga. You create that friendship with that raga. You create that friendship with the tala. You understand both. Like you speak to a good friend of yours.
Yeah.
When you perform a raga, it is a conversation between two friends.
Yeah.
That is what the vision of music that happens.
Wow, you are very good with your words, I must say. Now, leading on to my next question, the Mahar Gharana tradition emphasizes discipline, devotion, and depth. What does it mean to you to uphold that legacy before a global audience today, or rather even our audience here in Nairobi?
Mahar is something so beautiful, so diverse, and it created the great musicians of this era. And Baba Alauddin Khan to my Guruji Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia ji, what is the best thing Guruji has created is bringing the technique and style of Mayar Gharana to Bansuri. That his Guruma Annapurna Devi's contribution, he always mentioned that. And what it was earlier when Panditji introduced Bansuri to the public was mostly into Gaiki style, and they learn songs. But here what was brought in is the compositions, the jod, the jhala, and the techniques of sarod and sitar into Bansuri, making it more an interactive communication between the artist and the audience. And so that is what the beauty of Mayhar. And the vocal is, yes, this is beautiful, but that is instrument. Every instrument has its own color, own feeling. What do you say? Emotion. Yes. And how do he understood those emotions, the techniques, and the complex things, bringing it to Bansuri. That is his contribution, and he is so kind that he passed it on to us, very lovingly and unconditionally.
Yeah.
And I'm just a drop in that ocean, just trying to practice and give it to the audience and to my students.
And I think what you've said about passing it on very lovingly, I do believe music is a love language of its own. And the way you've described the Mayhar Gharana tradition, it shows the different layers that it has, the emotions that it can bring out in a person, and honestly makes me very excited to witness you as a performer this weekend. And for those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, this weekend the Navrang Fine Arts Foundation are bringing you an event at the Oshwal Auditorium. And you can get your tickets on booking-kiosk.com. Tickets range from 2,000 shillings to 4,000 shillings, wherever you prefer to sit. And it's from 5:45 p.m. onwards. Now, before we move on to the next part, I just want to ask you about the Mystic Bamboo Academy. Through your Mystic Bamboo Academy, you've mentored students worldwide. What principles or values do you aim to pass on to the next generation of musicians?
Thank you for asking me this question, that through Mystic Bamboo Academy, what is the vision behind it? I have come across with a very beautiful saying. It says that when you have a vision, there is a revision. And when there is no vision, there is confusion. So, when I started this academy and started thinking about what would be my contribution to music, so the complex thing of performing Bansuri, the performances, how I can break down to a system where a lay man can understand. How creating steps, layers in the curriculum so that a beginner student can understand the complex things. So those things I worked, and successfully we have been doing it, and there are more than 10,000 students in Mystic Bamboo Academy learning from 30 different countries through online medium.
Wow.
On that is, I feel very much, feel very satisfied, feel good about how the students, they react to the teaching. What's the coming outcome of the teaching is coming out slowly.
Of course.
It's visible. So it is feeling nice.
And on that note, congratulations on the Mystic Bamboo Academy. I'm sure there's much more research that our listeners can also do on their own if they do want to venture into music and transfer this love language that is music. Now, we still do have more conversation to have with Himanshu Nanda and Shruti Bhave, who are here from Navrang Fine Arts Foundation. So stick around for that. In the next 15 minutes, we'll be right back with you on Radio 44 100.8 FM. And that is Pardesiya playing for you on Radio 44 100.8 FM. Now, we are still in studios with two amazing talents, and now they're both on the mic together. Welcome again to Radio 44. And for the listeners who are just tuning in, they are here from Navrang Fine Arts Foundation and will be performing this Saturday at Oshwal Auditorium. Tickets range from 2,000 shillings to 4,000 shillings. depending on where you'd like to sit, of course. They've got balcony, they've got stalls, different options for you to choose from. And you can get your tickets from bookingkiosk.com, which is booking-kiosk.com. From 5:45 p.m. onwards, get ready to be serenaded. Get ready to have magic touch your ears, and honestly, it's going to be an amazing experience for anyone. You don't necessarily have to be obsessed with music to enjoy music. So I highly encourage you to join them this Saturday at Oshwal Auditorium, Navrang Fine Arts Foundation. Now we've got Shruti Bhave and Himanshu Nanda in studios with us. Welcome back to Radio 44. I do have some parting questions for you. Are you ready to answer?
Sure.
Sure.
All right, so we'll start off with Shruti. Finally, Shruti, this is your last question of the day. Don't worry, no more pressure. What inspires you personally when you step onto stage, and what drives your connection with both the instrument and the audience?
Wow, that needs deep thinking. Okay, firstly and technically, the most practical aspect of being able to ably perform for the audience is the sound, the sound system, and the sound checks are far more important for us than the concert sometimes, because concert just goes away. Sound check has to be like really good.
That's true.
Just kidding, but then that's also an important part. The most other important part is that music, if I love that kind of music as a performer, it's so natural for me to perform. But sometimes when you don't happen to like that music, but you are here on board as a musician hired professionally, then it is like a sole responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I leave it to the Almighty, because we are there with all our willingness to give our best.
That is true.
So that's the surrender part.
Thank you so much, Shruti. And I'm pretty sure the audience is ready to connect with you this weekend through music, through love, through appreciation as well for your talents. And moving on to Himanshu Nanda, your final question of the day. As you prepare to perform in Nairobi, what emotions or message would you like to share with your audience? And what would you like them to take away from the performance happening this Saturday?
Well, thank you, Isha. This is a very profound question. What I always have been seeing music as a connection between the artist and the audience. So in this chaotic world, what people are searching is peace, the silence. And our Guruji has always indicated that music has to be such which will take you nearer to silence. So if I can bring that silence, that peace through my music to the audience, I think that would be my journey, my personal liking, and that is what I always worked for. I'm looking forward, and I would like to thank Navrang Fine Arts Foundation, and especially to you, Isha.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you
inviting us here.
Anytime.
And looking forward to see the Nairobi audience and create some good music. Thank you.
I know Nairobi will not disappoint you, but I'm pretty sure your talent will weigh much more heavy than what Nairobi can appreciate you with. Thank you so much for coming to Nairobi and gracing our stage with your presence. Honestly, you both are lovely people, and being in conversation with the two of you has made me kind of appreciate music a lot more in this moment. I think this conversation is exactly what I needed today, and thank you for that. And Shruti, do you have any parting words for your listeners today?
Just appreciate the true music which is being wholeheartedly played or sung by the performer. I want the audience to just try not to be a layman and try to get into the appreciation part where there is even more connection. So
thank you so much. And those are her final words for our interview today. Thank you to Navrang Fine Arts Foundation for joining Radio 44 in studios today. Now, for the people who are still just tuning in, shame on you. But apart from that, Saturday 15th November at Oshwal Auditorium, there is an amazing performance happening. We've got Shruti Bhave and Himanshu Nanda who will be performing, and tickets go for 2,000 shillings all the way to 4,000 shillings depending on where you'd like to sit. You can get your tickets on booking-kiosk.com. gmail.com, and the evening begins at 5:45 p.m. onwards. Be there, because you know you will go closer to peace and you will be connecting with some amazing musicians. Thank you so much once again for coming to Radio 44, and see you on Saturday.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Isha.
you
We had
so
a great time conversing with you.
All right, guys, now to all the listeners, I'll see you in the next hour of Cruise Control with me, Isha, on Radio 44 100.8 FM.